So Emma and I are both IMT practitioners, and she also does a lot of other cool stuff, which I'm going to let her tell you about herself. Um, but we did a video together, I don't know, 2 months ago now,
Yeah.
where we talked about we had recognized each other from our professional acquaintance as people who walk the talk, which is something
Mm.
that I really like. We are therapists and we receive therapy as well. And something that's really important to me is that people are open about the things that they do for their mental emotional well-being because I believe there's still such a stigma around getting support for your everyday life. And I don't think that should be the same way we're like, I'm gonna go to the doctor, or I'm gonna go to the dentist or the chiropractor or the acupuncturist. Your mental emotional body is the most important body, in my opinion. So I think it's really important. And so that's kind of how we met. And then we ended up doing some hypnosis sessions, which was really exciting for me when Emma reached out. So why don't you just share a little bit about your practice and then
Okay.
a little bit about, because you had not been hypnotized before, I believe.
I had not. I had not.
And so like, just share a little bit about your practice and kind of what you do for your
Okay.
career, because I believe that adds a lot to our lives when we're professional people.
Mm.
It's an element of stress when you're running your own business. And then kind of what made you want to do hypnosis.
Okay. So I'm an IMT practitioner as well. I think we probably work. I think IMT's got so many levels and so many layers of the way you can use it, and particularly the way I use it is in kind of coaching for wellness. My clients are mostly people that struggle like I did with a lot of chronic stress, but regular burnout and a lot of anxiety, a lot of stuff that often don't really know what's causing it. I often say, people just come feeling horrible and they don't really know why. And that's what I loved, and obviously Matt being the teacher, that kind of statement of it's just an exploration of a problem is really the way I look at it. Like, can it help with this? Well, let's just find out. So, and I found IMT because of my own stuff. So it was so helpful. It's literally changed my life. So it's been incredible. But I also use a lot of nervous system regulation things. I work on the basis of, kind of root cause, if you like.
Mm.
We're all looking for the right diet and the right, practice and the thing to fix us. But actually, until we really know what's underneath all the stuff that's making us feel so rubbish, then we can't really ever shift out of it. And that was definitely true for me. So I'm kind of 30 years with autoimmune, but like 8 years in remission
Mm.
and staying healthy and feeling healthier and happier now because of things like IMT and the other tools that I use. So, yeah, I suppose that kind of embodied practice of like checking in with yourself every day, really noticing. And so, these regular practices and finding the right people and working in this arena with so many amazing people as well. I'm like, oh, that's great. I'm going to use that. So I noticed that there was a big period of growth coming up for me. I'm about to do like a couple of talks and wanting to write more and speak more about, really bring it out there into the world that actually, an awful lot of autoimmune stuff is really down to chronic stress, inflammation, some long held trauma. Um, and so I was starting to get a little bit, oh, I've got these limiting beliefs and I know where they are and I know where they come from and I don't really know. And I could really feel them. And I knew that they needed to kind of get sorted out, if you like, or looked at. And so you were ideal because I knew we could either use a little bit of IMT if that came in, but I haven't had hypnotherapy before. I've kind of used practices like it, but I've never actually had that before where someone's actually guided me through it. So yeah, I just knew because of our connection anyway that you were the right girl for me.
Well, I think too, you kind of had a cheat. code because a lot of times with my clients we do start with IEMT just for that exploration. How
Mm.
did I learn to feel this way about this thing? How did I learn to think this about myself? But you already
Mm.
had done that. So we kind of decided there was no point in doing that
Yeah,
some more
yeah,
and rather just kind of dump into that subconscious mind and work on
absolutely.
creating those shifts. So I know you had a very fun experience with doing the hypnosis. You got really deep. So sometimes people do ask me if I
Yeah,
could do it online, and the answer is yes, I can do online or in person. Obviously, I could not do it in person. I mean, I could have, I guess, but it would have been a very
yes.
expensive session
Skip to
for
Scotland. Yeah.
for one of us to fly to a foreign country. So we decided to do online. Um,
Yeah.
so what was the experience like for you doing hypnosis for the first time?
Yeah, it was great actually. I knew, I know I've kind of got a big vision and that, it's always been, it's not really, it's a big vision for me, like for everyone else it would be. But I know kind of what I really want. And those really sticky beliefs were like,
Mm,
they were just kind of getting on my nerves, I suppose, really. And so it was really nice to actually be in my own space and and be hypnotized and feel that sense of like, and then as soon as we went through it, I started to smile, dropping into that that hypnosis and just being like, oh, I'm already there, I'm already there. And that's really what we focused on more than anything is not sometimes going back to purge whatever is there or to look at it even more. And actually recognizing with some of the stuff we talked about in between sessions was, I know where it comes from, but we just need to know that and then move forward. I had loads of cracking dreams, fun dreams. One of them is now like a basis of my screensaver, which is like being a bit more playful about it. And I'd also recently done some work with Dale for metaphors of movement as well, which had helped
mm,
me start to see things differently. And I'm always really grateful for that when I'm working through something, the right people come along just at the right time. Um, and I think I've definitely started to set some really big boundaries. I've let go of an awful lot of stuff that I'd have been hanging on to before, and been a little bit scared to let go of it. Stood my ground on a couple of things. I think I said to him setting boundaries like a mofo. It's like really, but it was, and for me, that's a big deal, but it wasn't like, oh, I've really got to set them, I have to think about them. It was a felt sense of, no, this is just not okay now. I know I need more. And, doing some of the work that I do, obviously with my clients, I'm like, this is big. This is big work for me. There's always that tendency to feel like, oh, well, it's okay. It's okay. I'll just, and made some really conscious changes in my life moving forward. And not any of them are kind of opening out straight away, but I know they're setting me up for a next few months of like nice steady change, and it's felt comfortable, which is the nicest thing, definitely. And felt very supported as well during those sessions too. I'm like, oh wow, this is coming up. So yeah, that was really
Well,
great.
it's nice because it's, I think something we talked about a little bit was some of your ways of thinking were they're literally just habits. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, this is
yeah.
this is what I think, and this is what I do as a result of what I think. And I think recognizing that really created a
Mm,
big light bulb moment for you. And when we shift things in the subconscious mind, the unfamiliar becomes familiar. And
mm.
that's why all of a sudden we're like, oh yeah, like I'll have to think about saying, no, thank you. I'm not going to do that thing. I can just do it. Just
I
like,
know. And those really big, like, no, I have to say it now. I have to do it now. And I think that for me, I did a fair bit of work with a herbalist last year and the Safe and Sound protocol. And I've been using that again to kind of work through the nervous system to allow space a little bit
mm,
to hold that a little bit more. And it was the same then. There were physical feelings of like, yeah, no, I'm just not going to do that anymore. Or yeah, that's a hell yes, I really want to do that. So yeah, I've made some kind of bold decisions. And even when I look at when I've been a little bit scared throughout that, and checking in with that old self, there's been a kind of general feeling of, yeah, but it's going to be okay. Like
Mm.
it, I'm not actually that scared anymore, which is a big deal for me, because normally when I'm working with stuff that I really want, there's always that kind of, but I'm never going to deserve it. That old self, that subconscious self. So it's been really lovely. And I'm still working with the recordings that you sent,
Mm.
which obviously shifts it up another level as well. But it's been
Mhm.
it's been brilliant. Yeah, really nice changes. And
Awesome.
like steady and feeling like I'm not overwhelmed by them too, which is brilliant.
Yes, like paced. We don't
Yeah.
like it
Yeah.
completely
Like, woo.
reset. And we only did 2 sessions, right? You did 2 sessions with the
Yeah.
recordings.
Yeah.
And so you have that support in between. And then we're
Hmm.
kind of like, okay, I'm in a good place right now. So it's like
Yeah.
we didn't spend
Yeah.
a ton of time. It did not take
No.
long.
No.
Which I think is because you were really ready for it and you had already done so much
Yeah.
groundwork.
I
Do
think it
you?
helped that I knew what it was, I knew the kind of things that were going on underneath, but definitely the changes that you've helped me make have been amazing. So yeah.
Awesome. Do you have any advice for anyone who might be watching this video who's curious about trying it themselves? Because you and I both know as people who go to kind of alternative therapy and people who conduct it, sometimes
Yeah.
it takes a long time to decide that that's what you want to do. And I think everyone's different, but do you have any advice or like what made you be like, okay, it's time to do this?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's ever been a time where I've never thought something's not okay. You know what I mean? I'm always kind of curious about how things work and why, oh, that sounds amazing. But I think, you know, it's a similar thing with IMT. It's change work and it can be scary. It can be kind of, well, I want that, but actually, I want to stay here as well. And so, yeah, knowing kind of those specific intentions and goals, I think are always really lovely. But knowing that you're the person that can kind of pick that out for people in their consultation forms and what they say to you, I really didn't tell you a lot. It was just a little email, like, I think this is what it is. And then we kind of just had a little couple of messages, and that was it, really.
Mm-hmm.
I think being able to be, to just trust someone and guide them. And it's definitely, I would definitely recommend you to do that, because it just felt really safe. And, there wasn't anything too heavy, and it just felt really comfortable. And yeah, we had some fun as well, which was
Yes.
really nice too.
That's my whole thing. You
That's
got
it.
laughter is the best medicine, guys. You gotta
Yeah.
have some fun. But I do because the emotion, I'm very silly. I mean, I think the person you see on the videos is the same person you get in hypnosis, except maybe she's has a little different tone of voice. But
I think
that
so.
kind of enthusiasm and humor, and that's what helps bring the emotion. Because if it's
Yeah.
important to you, it's your
Mm.
important goal.
Yeah.
If I just sit there and kind of like phone it in with a script book or just
Mm.
use a very soothing tone of voice the whole time, it's not as effective as if
Yeah.
you're really
Yeah.
having that
Feeling it.
experience and you're really feeling it. It's really visceral because now your subconscious is like, "Ooh, that's important to you." So yeah, I love to have a laugh when we're
Yeah, and it's
doing
and it's
sessions.
great because I can be quite, I've got a really weird sense of humor, but I tend to be quite serious and quite deep as well. And so it's really nice to have that lightness in a session where, a lot of the work I've done over the years has been very much about dredging stuff up. And this really felt like it was forward focusing, just enjoying the journey as well, finding out what was coming up and seeing what was changing. And that was really lovely to just have that curiosity as well. It was
Hmm.
good. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And still
Wonderful.
am. Still
And she
am.
still is. She still is. Well, I really appreciate. I know you have a crazy week coming up and you have all these wonderful events coming up. So everyone should check out her website, which I think is emmatomswellness.com. Am I right?
It is, yeah.
Excellent. Because you have an online event coming up.
I
Yes?
do, yeah. I've got a couple of online events. So I always do like a free workshop. I cancelled this week just because I've just been a bit unwell, but I've got a little IMT workshop just coming up for people to explore. And I've got like a kind of like a group coach. I call it a group coaching, but actually it's just 4 weeks of like we've done like a little bit of exploration to see if we can't just settle the nervous system and see what changes for us really. So yeah, it was
Hmm.
really exciting. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's get
so you have
booked
a
on.
lot of big stuff ahead. So we have a big time difference between us. So
We do.
we really appreciate everyone watching. Thank you. If you have any questions or comments for either one of us, let us know. And thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you.